Hello everybody, Josh12 back here again with another video, and I'm here with another DC Talk video, and I'm here to talk all things Booster Gold. Yes, we got a whole bunch of interesting DC films related stuff, but I'm here to talk about all things Booster Gold because Greg Berlanti discussed Booster Gold and the connectivity towards the DCEU. Now let's get into that. Now, first off, Booster Gold is one of those spin-off solo films that's been like on the map but kind of like obscure to everything else that's happening with, I guess you can call it the Snyderverse. There's, the Harley Quinn solo film, there's the freaking Birds of Prey film, there's the Lobo film. There's just a whole bunch of movies that supposedly in the can in writing stages or pre-production that we just know it's kind of happening, but may not happen. It's a real debacle over at DC. But the big one is Booster Gold because the people who handle the DC TV universes, specifically in the CW, or as fans like to call it, the Berlantiverse, are developing Booster Gold. Now, apparently, according to a recent interview with Greg Berlanti, he was discussing the connections with this film and with the DC film slate. And apparently, Booster Gold will have no connection with the DCEU. Now, with that being said, I have two very differing feelings on this. On one hand, I feel very positive about this news. On the other hand, I feel very negative towards this news. Now, let's start off with my negatives. Now, the fact that Greg Berlanti's Booster Gold film is being its own solo, self-contained film outside of the DCU or any form of universe at this point in time, we don't know if it's connected to Flash or Arrow or any of the other Berlanti TV shows, but let's say for the sake of devil's advocate that it's not. This is just one of those things that continues to aggravate me about Warner's and DC's supposed plan of this multiverse. Now, granted, the multiverse is a key word to use when it comes to defending DC's multiple content and disregard for connectivity like the MCU with their TV shows, Netflix series, and of course movies. For me personally, I like the idea of them being connected. However, I also have certain feelings towards having self-contained stories, which I think is also a plus. So I have a very divisive feeling on DC's supposed multiverse theory. But at the end of the day, it just bothers me at my core that here's just another DC project that creates boundaries, that creates walls, giant embargoes, that is the definition of everything DC and Warner Brothers, which is, well, now that this character is over here, it can't be used over here or over there, but it may be over there, maybe over here, is that character can be used over here. Where's Batman in this fucking situation? This is just the continuation of having multiple TV shows, multiple movies, and having no connective tissue with any of them, and it just really bothers me. However, I do hope that at the end of the day, we do have a crisis film that actually does something with everything that's happening with all the multiple non-superhero TV shows, the Berlantiverse, Gotham, the DC films, and so on and so forth. But we'll just have to wait and see. At the end of the day, it is what it is. Moving off of that, let's get into my positives real quick. Now, the positives is it's its own self-contained story. It's its own self-contained universe. I think the great thing about the epic superhero movies of the day prior to the cinematic universe trend or the shared universe trend of the MCU and DCEU is the fact that superhero films on both Marvel and DC side were self-contained stories. The superheroes and characters were their own people that had their own stories and scope that was enlarged because there wasn't any other character or superpowers in them. The great thing about Sam Raimi's Spider-Man is the fact that Spider-Man, Peter Parker, is the only superhero within it. The great thing about Chris Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy is the fact that there's no superpowers in it. It's realistic and practical, and Batman is the only superpowered being in there. And that's what made those superhero movies great, is the fact that they were self-contained, they weren't shared to any other expanding universe like X-Men, Fantastic Four, Justice League, Teen Titans. It didn't have any of that. It was its own thing. And I like the fact that Greg Berlanti and the rest of the people at the DC CW universe are taking their time to really make this a self-contained thing where there's not any multiple superheroes, at least as far as we know. Granted, things could change. Obviously, there's rumors that Blue Beetle can show up, possible reference to Justice League members. Things could happen, but for the most part, I do like and appreciate the idea that Greg Berlanti and the rest of the CW people are developing a movie that's its own movie and its own character that's not bombarded with, where's Batman or Superman or Wonder Woman or Flash or Arrow or so on and so forth. It's its own thing. And I like that, and I appreciate their aspects and admiration. But with everything said and done, at the end of the day, I'm very hopeful for the Booster Gold film. I do like the idea that they're dedicating an entire film to Booster Gold, and I have huge faith in Greg Berlanti. He's done an amazing job with the CW verse, with Flash, Arrow, and so on and so forth, and I think he's the right guy for the job of a Booster Gold film, and hopefully in the future they could create some form of crisis film that connects everything that, no, they don't need to be in each other's things all the time, but it would be cool to have one singular project where everything that we like about all these multiple TV shows, projects, and movies have one spot where they can be all together. So hopefully that happens. But with that being said and done, Greg Berlanti, I have a huge trust in him, and this is a redemption story of the craziness, shittiness of the Green Lantern film and his redemption story with Booster Gold. So I'm very hopeful with all that being said. In the comment section below, let me know what you personally think about it. In the comment section below, let me know what your personal thoughts on the Booster Gold film and Greg Berlanti's comments towards it not being connected to the DCEU. Are you scared about that? Do you dislike that? Do you like that? What are your personal thoughts on that? And of course, my personal thoughts on said topic. But with that being said and done, shameless plug time. Follow me on Instagram at Josh12. Subscribe to my channel if you've not done so already. And I hope you guys enjoyed. And this has been Josh12.